Napheesa Collier just ended Cathy Engelbert. Right now, we have the worst leadership in the world, says Napheesa Collier, a WNBA superstar, MVP finalist, and co-founder of Unrivaled, speaking at her exit interview after getting eliminated from the playoffs.
Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence.
And she didn't stop there. She came with receipts. She exposed private conversations with Commissioner Cathy Engelbert that are absolutely wild. And she basically said what every WNBA player has been thinking but was too scared to say out loud. And the craziest part? What she revealed about what Engelbert said about Caitlin Clark is going to make your jaw drop. And I'm going to break down every single detail in the next 15 minutes. This is the moment the WNBA's facade cracked wide open. Let's get into it. Fee came with a prepared statement. Okay, so first things first, Collier didn't just go off script in an emotional moment. This wasn't a hot take. She literally came to her exit interview with a prepared statement and read it. That means she thought about this. She talked to lawyers probably. She knew exactly what she wanted to say, and she said it anyway, knowing full well she's gonna get fined. But why would she risk that? Well, because what happened in the playoffs was the final straw, and when you hear what went down, you're gonna understand. In Game 3 of the semifinals against Phoenix, Collier got injured after Alyssa Thomas made contact with her ankle. And here's the kicker, the refs didn't call a foul. Collier suffered an ankle injury following a controversial collision with Phoenix star Alyssa Thomas in Game 3. Her coach Cheryl Reeve got so heated that she got ejected and then suspended for Game 4. Collier missed Game 4 completely. The Lynx lost and got eliminated. Her season ended, not just because of the injury, but because of a no call that everybody watching the game saw except the refs. And this isn't the first time. This is the pattern. This is what players have been complaining about all season. But here's where it gets absolutely unhinged. Collier revealed that back in February, she asked Engelbert how she planned to address officiating issues in the league. Engelbert's response? Well, only the losers complain about the refs. Read that again. The commissioner of the league basically told one of her star players that complaints about officiating are just sour grapes. Not we're working on it. Not we hear your concerns. Just straight up dismissing legitimate issues as whining. If you're here for the unfiltered truth about sports drama, hit that subscribe button because we're not holding back on this channel. Collier said, I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. At some point, everyone deserves to hear the truth from someone who I hope has earned the benefit of the doubt to fight for what is right and fair for our athletes and our fans. This is not someone popping off because they're emotional. This is someone who's done, who's tried working through proper channels and got nowhere, who's ready to burn bridges to fix the league. Alright, so this is the part that has the entire basketball world shook right now. Collier revealed that in a private conversation with Engelbert, she asked how the commissioner planned to fix the fact that rookie stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Buchers are driving massive revenue for the league, but making so little money in their first 4 years. Reasonable question, right? These players are selling out arenas, breaking viewership records, bringing in new sponsors. They're literally saving the league, so how are they getting compensated? Engelbert's wild response? According to Collier, Engelbert responded, Caitlin Clark should be grateful. She makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Hold up, let me make sure I understand this correctly. The commissioner is saying that Caitlin Clark, who was breaking viewership records in college before she even got to the WNBA, should be grateful that the league is underpaying her? Clark is making the league money. She's not getting rich off the league. The league is getting rich off her. The math ain't mathing. But it gets worse because what Engelbert allegedly said next is actually insane. Collier stated that in the same conversation, Engelbert told her, players should be on their knees, thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. On their knees. Let that sink in. The commissioner of the WNBA allegedly told a player that athletes should be on their knees thanking her for doing her literal job. The media rights deal exists because of the players. Without Aja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, there is no media rights deal. The players are the product. And Engelbert is out here acting like she did the players a favor by negotiating a deal that makes the league money. Girl, bye. When Collier dropped this bomb, social media lost it. X was on fire. TikTok was on fire. Every sports journalist was covering it, because this confirms what everyone suspected, that league leadership views players as replaceable, disposable, and ungrateful for even having jobs. Engelbert released a statement saying she has the utmost respect for Collier, but was disheartened by how their conversations were characterized. Notice she didn't deny what she said. She just said she was disheartened by how it was characterized. That's PR speak for I said it, but I didn't think she'd tell everybody. Let's talk about why Collier is so fed up with officiating, because it's not just about one missed call. It's a systemic problem that's destroying the integrity of the league. Collier called the WNBA's officiating lapses a form of self-sabotage by the league. Think about that phrase, self-sabotage. She's saying the league is actively undermining itself by refusing to fix the refs. And she's right. When you have coaches getting ejected and suspended for calling out bad officiating, players getting injured on no calls, inconsistent technical fouls, fans at home watching replays and seeing obvious missed calls, you're destroying your own product. You're making it unwatchable. This season alone, multiple playoff games decided by questionable calls. Cheryl Reeves suspended for criticizing refs. Coaches fined left and right for speaking up. Players tweeting about bad officiating and getting fined. But here's the thing nobody's talking about. There's actually a reason why the officiating is so bad, and it's connected to how the league treats its refs. The WNBA doesn't pay refs well compared to other pro leagues. They don't invest in training. They don't have robust accountability systems. So what do you get? Inconsistent officiating, refs who make mistakes and face no consequences, a system that prioritizes protecting refs over getting calls right. The NBA has a last 2-minute report where they publicly acknowledge missed calls. The WNBA? Silence. Just fine whoever complains and move on. Collier said our leadership's answer to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. This is it right here. The league's strategy isn't to fix the problem, it's to make it too expensive to talk about the problem. Coaches get fined $10,000 for criticizing refs. Players get fined for tweets. Anyone who speaks up gets punished financially. That's not leadership, that's suppression. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The collective bargaining agreement expires soon, and this exit interview just made those negotiations way more complicated. Collier has a unique role as both vice president of the WNBA Players Association and co-founder of Unrivaled, a professional women's basketball league recently valued at $340 million. Also, she's not just a random player complaining, she's a union leader. She's literally going to be across the table from Engelbert in CBA negotiations, and she just publicly called the commissioner negligent and said the league has the worst leadership in the world. Those negotiations are about to be spicy, but here's why this actually gives players more leverage than you'd think. What players want, players are pushing for 50-50 revenue split, currently around 10%, higher salary caps, guaranteed contracts, charter flights for all teams, better maternity benefits, a piece of expansion fees. The league has been pushing back, claiming they're not profitable enough, but Collier's comments expose the real issue. It's not about money, it's about respect. This is getting real. If you're invested in what happens next, go ahead and subscribe because we're covering every development in this story. The league announced a multi-year media rights deal with USA Network on September 30th, just as players across the league have demanded a greater share of the WNBA's overall revenue. So the league is signing new media deals, making more money, while simultaneously claiming they can't afford to pay players more. The hypocrisy is loud. Collier's words could add even more intensity to a conversation that could lead to a work stoppage in 2026 for players. Players are united right now. They're fed up. They have public opinion on their side, and they have alternatives like Unrivaled. If the league doesn't take negotiations seriously, we could absolutely see a strike. The most important thing about Collier's comments, she's not alone. Other players are speaking up in support, and that solidarity is powerful. Caitlin Clark said Napheesa Collier made a lot of very valid points when the Minnesota Lynx star criticized WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. This matters because Clark is the face of the league right now. She's the biggest star, she brings in the most viewers, and she's backing Collier. That tells you the issues Collier raised aren't just one person's opinion.
I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels.
They're widely felt across the league. When something like this happens, sometimes you see division. Some players support the whistleblower, others stay quiet to protect their relationship with the league. Not this time. Players across the league are showing support for Collier. They're not afraid anymore. Why? Because what does the league have left to threaten them with? Fines? Players are willing to pay them? Suspensions? For what? Speaking truth? But there's one group whose silence is actually speaking volumes right now. Remember, Cheryl Reeve got suspended for criticizing officiating, but she's also supporting Collier. Reeve praised Collier's leadership, saying, obviously Napheesa's voice is a really important one. When coaches are willing to risk fines and suspensions to back up their players, that tells you how serious the problem is. Fans are completely on the players' side. Social media is flooded with support for Collier and criticism of Engelbert. #PayTheW is trending. People are calling for Engelbert to resign. The court of public opinion has already made its decision. What is Unrivaled? Unrivaled is a professional women's basketball league co-founded by Collier, recently valued at $340 million, which announced the signings of star players like Paige Buchers. Reports indicate the league made $30 million in revenue in its first season last year. Think about that. A league that's 1 year old made $30 million in revenue. It's valued at $340 million. It's signing top draft picks before they even get to the WNBA. The leverage shift. In past negotiations, the WNBA held all the power. If players didn't like the deal, their only option was to play overseas. Now, players can play in Unrivaled, a league on American soil with American media coverage that pays comparable or better money for a shorter season. That's a game changer. The potential conflict of interest with Collier's dual roles as WNBA Players Association Vice President and Unrivaled co-founder has been scrutinized. Some people say Collier shouldn't be negotiating for WNBA players while running a competing league. But honestly, that conflict is exactly what gives players leverage. The WNBA can't ignore player demands anymore because if they do, players have somewhere else to go. But there's one scenario where Unrivaled doesn't just compete with the WNBA, it completely replaces it, and we're closer to that than you think. The nuclear option. Unrivaled could expand its season, they could add teams, they could position themselves as the primary league, and with top stars like Collier, Stewie, and now Paige Buchers already committed to Unrivaled, they could actually pull it off. The WNBA is no longer the only game in town, and that's terrifying for league leadership. And so where does all this drama lead? What actually happens now that Collier has exposed the league like this? Collier said she expects to be fined, noting, "I'm sure they'll fine me." I mean, it seems like anything with free speech is fined now. She's gonna get hit with a massive fine, probably the biggest fine in WNBA history, but she doesn't care. She already said she's not concerned about the fine, and when players get fined for speaking the truth, it only makes the league look worse. These negotiations were already going to be contentious. Now, they're gonna be brutal. The players have all the momentum, they have public support, they have alternatives, they have nothing to lose. The league needs to, 1. Fire or replace Cathy Engelbert, not gonna happen, but should. 2. Significantly increase player compensation. 3. Fix the officiating immediately. 4. Stop suppressing player voices with fines. 5. Actually listen to player concerns. If they don't do at least 3 of those 5 things, we're headed for a work stoppage. The Engelbert problem, real talk. Can Engelbert survive this? Collier accused her of being negligent in her governance and said the league has the worst leadership in the world. Those aren't small critiques. Those are career-ending accusations. If other players pile on, and they might, if more details come out about private conversations, if the CBA negotiations go poorly, Engelbert might have to resign. What players need to do? Stay united, keep speaking up, don't let the league silence you with fines or intimidation. The public is on your side. Use that leverage, push for everything you deserve, and be ready to strike if necessary. Because sometimes you have to be willing to lose everything to win what matters. What fans can do. Keep supporting players, keep calling out the league, keep showing up to games and buying merchandise. but also be ready to support players if they strike. Don't cross picket lines. Don't blame players for fighting for fair compensation. Napheesa Collier didn't just criticize WNBA leadership, she demolished them. She came with receipts, with specific quotes, with a prepared statement that couldn't be dismissed as emotional rambling. She exposed a commissioner who allegedly told players to be on their knees thanking her, who dismisses officiating concerns as whining from losers, who views players as ungrateful employees rather than the foundation of the entire league. And the craziest part, Collier's not wrong. She's right when she says, we have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. The WNBA is in the middle of its biggest growth moment ever. Caitlin Clark brought unprecedented attention. Ratings are up. Attendance is up. The culture is shifting. And league leadership is fumbling the bag, underpaying players, ignoring officiating issues, suppressing criticism, acting like tyrants instead of partners. Something's gotta give. Either the league fixes itself or players will find a new league. And honestly, after everything Collier revealed, I wouldn't blame them. What do you think? Should Engelbert resign? Are players asking for too much, or is the league being cheap? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to see my breakdown of how Unrivaled could actually replace the WNBA, click that video right there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.